We're into February, and I missed Groundhog Day, so there's only one thing we can do about that. We're into February, and I missed Groundhog Day, so there's only one thing we can do about that. And you say our love won't pay the rent. This is Short Time Shots, a look back at the day's college wrestling scores and more. Babe, that really just was terrible. Anyway, I'm your host, Pittsburgh weatherman Jason, Phil Connors Bryant, and I will drink Iron City beer when we get to NCAAs in 2019. Not a huge night in and around the mats of college wrestling, but since it's been a few wild weeks and there wasn't much you were going to get from me anyway that you haven't already read about, the other part is I spent most of the previous week down at the Mall of America doing a number of interviews in and around Super Bowl 52. No, I did not actually get a game credential, and to be quite honest, I didn't apply for one. They're not going to give a wrestling guy a game credential, although maybe knowing what I know now, perhaps the next time it comes to this nice, balmy climate of Minnesota, maybe I'll apply for a game credential. Regardless, I did get media credentials for 3 days of the media week, and you've seen some of those interviews on Track Wrestling with Andy Hamilton, who was also up here for Monday opening night, but I was there 3 days tracking down wrestlers and tracking down football players that were former wrestlers and getting all sorts of interviews. You can check that out by going to MadTalkOnline.com/Super Bowl 52. That's Super Bowl 52 for all the Mad Talk Online Super Bowl 52 coverage. Yes, I actually got to cover Media Week, and it took me a while. Shout out to Nick Fierro, who used to write for the East Express Times, now writing for the Allentown Morning Call. He covered a lot of high school wrestling back in District 11. Him and I have had some it was a good times over the years talking wrestling about the Beast of the East and the Virginia Duels. And good to see Nicky P out there as the Eagles won Super Bowl 52. So that means we'll have to pick up with a whole year of flying rats. Fans telling us that they won the Super Bowl. Of note, both the Philadelphia Eagles and the New England Patriots correctly predicted Penn State to beat the Ohio State on Saturday. I had the Buckeyes winning in my draw 20-19 on a 5-5 split, and no one outside of State College or the 8-1-4 or the 7-1-7 would have done the same. Actually, I only say 7-1-7 because I lived there at one time for 3 years. It was a good time. So here's what we got on Tuesday. By the way, Rick Lovato, Old Dominion, first football player from ODU to play in the Super Bowl. Now he's got a ring. He also wrestled in high school in New Jersey. Check out that interview at MadTalkOnline.com/Rick Lovato. That one as part of the Old Dominion University Monarch Matcast. I was actually going to interview Rick for the ODU show that I have here on the network, not realizing that he actually wrestled in high school. It worked out pretty well. Actually, his cousin's Glenn Pritzlaff. You may have heard of him. Anyway, back to Tuesday. The United States Naval Academy earned its first shutout in 12 years after beating regional rival George Mason 43-0 on Tuesday. Zach Davis earned his 100th career victory with a 92-second fall at 157 pounds over Bryce Reddington. The midshipman improved to 8-2, while the Patriots, and not those Tom Brady ones, fell to 3-11. 311 has grassroots for your mama. Those of you who listen to music in the 90s will catch that reference. Elsewhere, we moved to Division II, where number 11 Pitt Johnstown picked up a 39-9 win over Shippensburg, and in the process, secured 5 falls in the duel. The Mountain Cats will face Mercyhurst on Friday for the PSAC regular season title. Best individual win. Let's try that again. Best individual win. Words I like to lick a lemon lollipop in Lilyhammer. How now, brown cow? Anyway. Best individual match saw number 3 Evan Ramos top number 7 Levi Niebauer 3-2. Down south, UNC Pembroke beat Coker 33-12. Limestone topped King. That's King, the one in Tennessee, not Kings, which got smoked by Centenary. But anyway, Limestone beat King 36-9. Both of those duels in the ECAC Division II Wrestling Conference, which will actually morph into the Conference Carolinas next season. Why it's not the Conference of the Carolinas anymore, I will never know. The South Atlantic Conference and the Conference Carolinas came together a week or two ago, forming conferences for field hockey and wrestling. Elsewhere in Division II, Drury, not just in Inn & Suites or where the Muffin Man lives. Drury won 30-13 over Central Missouri. In Division III, Baldwin Wallace improved to 18-2 and 5-0 in the Ohio Athletic Conference with a 32-13 win over Heidelberg. Say it with me, the student princes of Heidelberg. Who knew they were Scots? Jamie Gibbs, the head coach of Baldwin Wallace, was a previous guest on the Ice Hour, my Division III wrestling podcast. While on today's Ice Hour, we had Manchester head coach Kevin Lake. He saw his Spartans beat Trine tonight 34-9. John Carroll also beat Otterbein 30-3. In the NAIA, Missouri Valley shut out St. Mary of Kansas 47-0, while Baker trounced Ottawa 42-12. Baker 174-pounder Lucas Loveborn won his 23rd match in a row with a first-period fall. His 23rd match in a row, with a first-period fall. Not his 23rd match in a row of first-period falls. That would be kind of a record or something. All those scores and more at the Matt Talk Online College Wrestling Scoreboard at almanac.matttalkonline.com. Be sure to pick up your Matt Talk Online Division I Championship Digital Fan Guide by going to matttalkonline.com/fanguide18. Use the offer code podcast to save $5 and tell a friend. This guide is probably my biggest fundraising piece of content for the year, and every one of those sales actually helps me get up and do these shows. Yeah, I'll be sleeping on a couch. I'd be a bum in the sidewalk if it wasn't for you buying these books. And there is a complete correlation to the number of podcasts, especially this one, that you hear to the number of guides sold. I got kids to feed. Actually, I do have a studio to build. That's not important right now. I mean, it is, but, buy from a name you trust. Callahan Auto. It's the guide. It's the single best way for you to actually win your fantasy pick'em contest. Mac Ryder knows this. Check it out on Twitter at Mac Ryder. He tells you so. Anyway, I'm Jason Bryant. I'd like to thank you for spending your time with me because you've always got time for short time. The Short Time Wrestling Podcast is proudly outfitted by Compound Clothing. Shirts, singlets, custom gear orders, everything you need. Call up Cliff and the crew at cmpteamwear.com. First time listening? Well, you can change that by going to matttalkonline.com/getshorttime to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or listen on your favorite podcatcher at matttalkonline.com/listen.